Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about State Dressage 2025. So I'm very excited to be telling you all about our state's journey and what we got up to and how we went, because it was a very successful event and we had a very good time. So let's get into it. So let's start by talking about the day that we left. So we left on a Thursday because the comp started on a Friday. And this comp is a few hours away from us. So we drove straight up and firstly had a lesson at my coach's house on the way up. So this was great because we got to get the ponies into shape, we ran through our tests, so we felt all organised and prepared for the show. Then we kept driving to the State Equestrian Centre, so all up our drive was about 4 hours, so that's a long time for the ponies. So when we got there, we set up their outdoor yards because they were stabled at night there. So we wanted them to be able to go outside in the day and have some sunshine and fresh air. After we set up the yards, we had an indoor arena familiarisation. So what we did in there was we just ran through our tests and got the pony settled in the indoor because it's quite a big atmosphere and it's like really big in there. So they got to take in the atmosphere, and then after that we had to plait them. So a few days before we'd washed them and hot oiled them so they were all clean, so then we just needed to plait them, and then they were looking spick and span and ready for the show to start. So now let's talk about day one, the first day of competition. So on day one we had this dressage test called the pre-caprilli, and it is one of my favourite. They only do it at State Dressage and it has jumps in it, so it's got 3 different jumps. So we got the ponies ready and then we were walking to this arena and we'd warmed up, we were all ready, and the arena ended up running like an hour and a half late or an hour late, can't quite remember. So we were sitting there for ages and they were setting up the jumps, and I was starting to get quite worried because the jumps were like really big. So they were like getting up to like, I reckon 70 centimetres, which I know isn't really big, but for Diva, that's quite big because Bubble doesn't jump very well, and generally the jumps are like only 40 centimetres, so that's why I went in this class. Anyway, it was my turn and then I went in and these jumps like seemed huge. And I trotted around and then I went in and I started my dressage test and it was all going really good. And then Diva actually jumped the jumps. They were like really good. And we went around, we were jumping these jumps and they were really good. And, like, yeah, it was a really good dressage test. I actually ended up winning out of like 20 people on, I think 72% it was. And I could not even believe it because I was like, I didn't even think I was going to be making it over these jumps, to be honest. And yeah, she jumped them perfectly and yeah, that was really good. Then we had our second dressage test, which was called, I think, the Wanda Nelson pairs. So I was with my sister Josie and we were doing pairs. And it's this set dressage test and it's like a really long test. And that went really well, that was really fun. The ponies look really cute together because Abby's chestnut, Diva's like blackish brown. And yeah, that was really fun. I think we came 5th or 6th and we only had a few hiccups. Diva was like really good in it, and then when Josie had to canter in front, Diva was like not having a bar of that. But even though she was like didn't want to canter behind Abby, she ended up being really good because she like freaked out a little bit, but then like I just like pushed her forward and I was like, it's okay, keep going. And she was like, oh, okay mum, I'll keep going. And the rest of it was really good. So yeah, I was really happy with her and it was a lot of fun. And my next dressage test was my freestyle. So this is one of my favourite things in the world to do. So I made my own dressage test. So we had our made up dressage test with the requirements. So you get a requirement sheet which you have to have these certain movements, because I was doing novice, so we had to have like leg yields, simple changes, all that. So you have your set requirements and then you just make up your test with that, and then you pick a theme. So because this was Pony Club WA State Dressage, you get to wear a costume too. So my theme was Alice in Wonderland and I was the Queen of Hearts. So mum and I had made this like amazing costume with this dress and everything, and there was really good music. I really loved the music too. Diva was very good. At the start, we were like, went up the centre line, going down the centre line sideways, but she pulled herself together after that and did a really good test. We came away with like 72% and we actually got second in the 14 to 16 age category. So I was so thrilled with that because the indoor at the State Equestrian Centre is like fully enclosed and it's only like your horse in there with you, and they tend to get a bit like worried of where the other horses were, but she like pulled herself together and she was so good and I couldn't have been happier. So now we're going to talk about day 2. So the weather was very atrocious. So Josie had her first test, which was really good, and then we went back down to the float yards and we were unsaddling Abby because it was nearly Diva's turn and we were about to saddle Diva up, and then it started raining sideways, so we were getting absolutely drenched. So I had to walk back up the hill into the stable block where we decided we'd get Diva ready because it was raining sideways and we were getting very wet. So anyway, we got Diva ready and we went to the arena, which, may I add, was under complete water. It was so wet and like completely, it was just like we were riding in a mud bath because it had just rained so much. And thankfully it was not raining when I was riding because Diva hates the rain. So it stopped raining just for my test, which was perfect. So this test was the Novice 2.2 and it was really good. It was actually the best test I've ever done and I got a PB in this test. So I got 70% and I actually won it. I could not believe it. I was absolutely overjoyed because circumstances and riding an absolute mud bath, it was just so good and I could not believe it. So Josie also had her freestyle this day and that went amazing. So she was doing a novice freestyle in the 8 to 13 age category and her theme was Snow White and it was the most beautiful costume. It was like this yellow dress and she did so good. So just before she was going in, this helicopter came over the indoor arena and that because they're out. So at the indoor arena, it's got an outdoor warm up and then you go into the indoor for your test. But this helicopter came over and Abby freaked out. So Abby was like bolting around the outdoor arena warm up area like crazy, and like Josie's saddle was falling off because the girth hadn't been done tight enough. Anyway, they pulled themselves together and literally their test was like 2 minutes after this kerfuffle and they went in and it was amazing. So this was the novice, I don't know if I've mentioned that already. Anyway, they got 72% and it was such a pretty test. The costume looked so good on Abby and yeah, that was amazing. So let's talk about day 3. So this was the pas de deux day. So a pas de deux is pairs. So I was with Josie again and you do it to music in a costume, so it's similar to the freestyle but with 2 horses. So we were doing the pas de deux ponies and this was really cool. So our theme was disco. So we were in these like cool disco suits, we had our disco music and yeah, it was really cool. So we went in, we were trotting around and Diva decided to be a diva in this test. It was day 3, so she was really tired and I could understand because she's quite young, so this was a lot for her. Anyway, she was kind of bucking around it, but we actually got a good score because they're marked so like you on individual things. So it's like a normal dressage test, you're getting marked the entire time, where this you're getting marked for the movements that are like in the requirements. So she was being naughty in between the movements. So like, say for example, my 20-meter circle, I got a good mark because she wasn't naughty in the circle. It was like before the circle. So I was really pleased with that because Josie and I got both pretty good scores. Josie's score was like very good. She got 70 and I got like, I don't know, mid-60s. So her score brought us up because it's like, then you find like the average of them and stuff. Anyway, so we ended up coming, I think 5th for that, or 6th, 5th I think. So I was like very pleased with that, even though Diva was a bit naughty. But that was super fun because we were like in the indoor together and yeah, in our costumes, and the music was so cool. I loved the music. It was like this full disco vibes. Yeah, so that was, I was meant to do another test after that, but I was actually like really sick. So I got super sick when we were there. So I scratched from that because I just like couldn't even cope. I went to sleep after that test in the car. So overall, I'm really proud of Diva for state dressage. I actually couldn't believe it that we got over 70% in all of our individual tests, even coming away with 2 firsts and a second out of huge classes. She was really good, and although she was slightly naughty in some of the pairs, that is like a really hard thing to ask them to do, to like basically trot around and canter around side by side with a pair. I was really proud of her because she's pretty green still and young and camping and everything, and she handled it like a pro. So I hope you enjoyed hearing about our state dressage journey, and I'll see you soon. Bye!